Great to be here today, Jeremy. Let's kick things off and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Awesome. Ada, thanks so much for joining today and hosting this. My name is Jeremy Covert. I am the North America team lead for Ingram Micro Financial Solutions. My team's job is actually work with a lot of our vendors and also our resellers in regards to creating creative financing offerings to give the ability for their end user customers to pay more flexible payment options over time. So thinking about taking that upfront solution and turning it into monthly, quarterly, or annual type payments.
That's pretty awesome. And let me introduce myself. My name is Ada de Michel. I am the Canadian lead for IMFS, Ingram Micro Financial Solutions, and I work coast to coast in Canada with our reseller partners, vendors, and very closely with Jeremy and the North America team as well. So I'm really excited to be here. But to start us off, Jeremy, why don't you tell me a little bit about how you balance the value of multi-year upfront deals with customers who need annual payment options?
Yeah, great question, Ada. And we're really seeing this all the time anymore. And again, it's way of taking that upfront solution instead of getting that customer to pay everything up front. How do we turn that into more flexible payment options over time? And again, those flexible payment options can be anything from monthly, quarterly, or annual payments. But really why it's important, there's a survey that was done recently, and 82% of end user customers that were actually surveyed said they actually select their partner based off of them having a financing option available on your quote. So it's something that's actually really needed and actually to win opportunities instead of getting that customer that big sticker shock of the total solution cost and everything being done up front or within 30 to 60 days. Now we have the capability of actually spreading that over time. And that's what customers are looking for, especially in today's economy. Cash is king for a lot of our end user customers. So they're looking for more flexibility of paying for it either monthly, quarterly, or annual. The great thing about Ingram Micro Financial Solutions is we give Tenable and all of their reseller partners the capability of doing that and making those flexible payment options something that actually fits into that end user's budget and giving us the capability of winning and closing that opportunity.
That's pretty awesome. You know, when I think about the whole timing of things and why it's important to, start these conversations early. Why does it make such a difference? I tend to think about, setting that expectation with that customer, and it kind of gives them a broader opportunity to explore different options as well. An example, if it's, getting close to the quarter and you have an opportunity, there's a couple of things that, if you haven't explored it at the beginning of the quarter or a couple of months prior, or even a couple of weeks prior, to be honest with you, and it comes up late in the quarter, that pricing would tend to change from a customer standpoint.
That's a great point, Ada. And why is it so important, especially for our sales leaders, of being able to bring up these payment options earlier in the process?
Because it gives the customer options. And, going back to your earlier point where you made about, 82% of customers like being presented with an option, even if they don't go with it, it gives just a more professional aspect to the quoting piece of it. But also if there's different things that you can do to upsell the customer as well, right? You can add a lot more things within that financing solution. And sometimes customers might not have the budget right now, so you can make smaller payments at the beginning of the opportunity and then do step payments, or you could do 90-day deferrals. There's a lot of different options that we can work through, and time is on our side when we do that.
Yeah, that's a great point. And one thing I think about, Ada, is actually think about actually how we buy as consumers. And if we were to go on to any type of like e-commerce website today, and we were to select what we're wanting, it's going to provide us what that total solution cost is, and then what those flexible payment options are going to be over time. So think about who's actually kind of grown up buying this way. They're now becoming our business owners and business managers. So they're looking for that same mechanism when they come to procure Tenable solutions and other solutions that are available out in the marketplace.
That's a really good point, because on the weekends, I'm sure I know I myself am buying something online, and, at the checkout, it's, 4 easy payments, or, when I'm doing anything from a financing standpoint, you want to break out those payments from a cash flow perspective too. It kind of makes me think about from an approval standpoint too, how easy is this in reality? Because, when I'm at a checkout, it's easy for easy payments. You can press that easy button, but what's it really like from our standpoint when a customer wants to get this approved and wants to move forward with a financing option?
It's a great question. And I think what we've done here at Ingram Micro Financial Solutions is try to take along a lot of the barriers in order to actually finance a transaction. And one of the great things that we have available right now is up to $750,000 is we can do what we call an app-only credit approval. And what an app-only credit approval means is basically we're able to pull public data on that end user and make a credit decision based off that public data. And we're able to actually get that credit decision fairly quickly. Sometimes it takes anywhere from seconds to a couple business hours to make a credit decision. And now we're made that barrier of getting a customer qualified done a lot quicker and a lot sooner, and without the need of going back to the customer and getting additional documentation and financial information. Now, some customers may not qualify for it because they don't have enough public data out there. For those, we'll just come back and say, hey, look, here's what a planning rate looks like of what we could actually provide to the customer, but we're going to need some additional information in order to get them credit approved.
And when a customer actually goes through this process, what does that actual experience look like from a paperwork and effort perspective?
Again, what we're trying to do is create this as an easy process for them. We want to make this easier than them paying on cash or a net terms experience. So again, once we have credit approval, we'll provide that firm rate proposal to the customer of what that pricing is going to look like for either the monthly, quarterly, or annual payments. And then they say, yes, we want to move forward with that. It's a very simple process, a very simple documentation process. It's usually via DocuSign that the customer is going to sign. Once they sign, then we can actually work on getting the orders placed here at Ingram and also with Tenable and the reseller. And then after that, once the product's been fulfilled, that's where it really gets great is the ability to fund really quickly. So once that actually product has been received by the customer, then the funding actually will happen fairly quickly. Usually once the customers receive that product and they've accepted that product, our partners are paid within 3 to 5 business days. So think about it from a cash flow perspective of how much quicker that actually speeds up the process for our reseller partners to get paid on a transaction.
One thing that's been in the back of my mind, this seems like really great, and I've experienced that as well. In our business, but how easy is it to get a credit approval? Right now markets are really up and down, and liquidity is questionable sometimes from a banking standpoint. But in your experience, what are we looking like today from a credit approval process?
Well, the great thing is Ingram Micro has the capability of approving a lot of the customers that get sent over to us. And the reason why how we do that is we use a multiple funding source strategy. So we use multiple funding sources that have the appetites for all different types of credits, transaction sizes, product, documentation that needs to be signed. So we have the capability of getting a majority of the transactions approved. We can't get all of them approved. There's some customers that we're not going to be able to get credit qualified for a certain transaction, but the majority of opportunities are going to come through. We're going to be able to get them credit approved, but also get them credit approved in a rate that gives us the capability of winning the transaction.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and just to ask for you, because I know Ada, you kind of run the Canadian side of the business. How does this solution work in the same way both the U.S. and Canada, or is there differences that everybody should know about?
That's a great question. So pretty much mostly from a process standpoint, exactly the same. From a program standpoint, oftentimes we work with all of the same funders that you work with as well, Jeremy. We have access to all those different global funders, both the captives and the independents. So the programs are similar. There's a few variances in terms of, our Quebec folks. Some funders are, very Quebec friendly, and which is really fantastic because we have that opportunity to service that business. So we're coast to coast. And sometimes there's even, promos that are specific to Canadian customers, just based on different programs here and there. And we love to customize things as well. So we have some custom solutions for our reseller partners that are available. If there's a program that's in Canada, we're going to roll that out into the US as well.
Awesome. That's really cool. And I know the Ingram Micro Financial Solutions, just outside of US and Canada, we do a really good job from a global perspective. So if we have any of those reseller partners that have more of a global presence or have an end user that's global, we have the capability of financing. I think it's something around 96% of the world is where we have the capability of financing, which is a really, really big value add that Ingram Micro Financial Solutions can provide.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Just this past week, I was working on a global opportunity, and we were able to touch a couple of countries. Customers based in the U.S. and wanted financing outside of the U.S. into the U.K. So we were able to help them out there. So that really helps our global customers as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So if somebody wants to move forward, Jeremy, needs help with a quote, who should they contact?
Yeah, they should contact the Ingram Micro Financial Solutions team. So I'm the team lead here in North America, but Ada runs Canada. We also have Eric and Anthony on our team. Anthony handles the east part of the United States, and Eric handles the west part of the United States. But yeah, get in contact with us. It's a very simple process in order for us to provide those payment options. But the first thing we want to do is we actually want to sit down with our reseller partner and kind of identify how they want to go to market and get the right financing product that gives them the capability of winning in a transaction. We work side by side with Tenable too to be able to provide the best financing offerings that are available in the marketplace. So yeah, contact Ingram Micro Financial Solutions, and we'll get in contact with you. And again, start working that first opportunity, but then also start thinking about future opportunities and how we can actually have financing influence those opportunities to close and win more transactions.
That's awesome. Thanks so much, Jeremy. It was really great spending time with you and, getting to know a little bit more too, from an American and US perspective in terms of the different opportunities that exist there.
Yeah, I'm honored for the conversation. Thank you so much, Ada.
Thanks.